Hello fellow cultivators, welcome to another guide video for Tale of Immortal. And this video we are going to talk about alchemy, everything about alchemy. And this will be kind of the last in the series of a general artisanship guide, because we have already made a guide about talisman, and one about artifacts, and one about artifact spirits. And those are, especially artifact spirits, are more important in this game, but you can see that there are quite a few other artisanship skills, and the talismans, some of them can be still useful. For example, teleportation one, which is, and also it's a bit special to trigger. That's why I think it's worth it to make another video about it. But things like feng shui, for example, does not really bring much to the game. I mean, it's literally just press that geo button, right? And herbology and mining is also fairly simple. Basically, you have to learn those prescriptions so that not only you get more jobs when you defeat those mobs from, but also you can now use the two other buttons that usually nowadays you don't need to use at all, which is harvest from the herbs and mining from the mining things. And the reason why those things are not used, actually it's something related to how the development of this game goes. And so in this video we are first going to discuss about how artisanship changed during the game development, and from there, and then we are then talking about what is the different type of alchemy pills, and then we go to how do you actually make them. I mean, believe me or not, it's actually not that straightforward as you might think it is. And finally, I will showcase some of those new pills, new elixirs that some of you might never tried out. So that will be everything about this video. So to start, we'll talk about basically what is artisanship and how does it play in the role in this game. So let's use alchemy as an example. So to make alchemy, you need to first gather those herbs, and to gather those herbs you need to learn herbology, and to learn those prescriptions of herbology you need to improve your herbology stats. Similarly, to learn those things, you might need to have a required alchemy stat. And how to improve all those artisanship stats? You take a look at things around, every month, and things like dark crystal spirits, blood puppets. There are 5 different types of things. Each of them improves one of your artisanship skills, apart from talisman, which you can buy directly from the town. And so this generation of those beasts, random stuff, are random, and it's just purely RNG. So sometimes, that means it can be quite frustrating. So just to get your stat up in order to learn prescriptions. And then here comes the thing. Alchemy in the early phase of this game is actually quite important. And the reason is actually pretty simple. So let's go to breakthrough conditions. So basically, for foundation, that's still okay, because most of the time you are choosing the heaven foundation. You don't need any elixir. Instead of mortal one, you do need elixir, but nobody chooses this one, right? Now, then to chi condensation, here comes the problem. You need a chi condensation elixir, so you have to make it yourself. And you first need to go to the workshop of the main city to buy the prescriptions, and then you need to farm the herbs, here in laser, because for those breakthrough elixirs, the herbs are a bit more higher rarity compared to the region, so you need to farm in laser. So not only you have to go defeat Duncan, go to the land of Arcane, but you actually actively need to farm instead of using a monster rebelling charm. And after you farm all enough thing, and then you have to make it yourself using the artisanship thing. So to farming and to make the pills, you need both the stats up, and it's quite a lot of RNG waiting for the things to pop up. So it's frustrating, and also farming itself for those dropping for those herbs is also kind of grindy. So people have a lot of issue with this whole thing. And then they pushed out the sect update. So nowadays you can buy everything from sect, so including those elixirs directly. And since then, you don't really need alchemy anymore, most of the time. And even there are a few, like very rare cases, like sometimes you need body reconstruction elixirs in order to save your disciples. In that case, you can always directly go to the workshop, go to alchemy, and let the shop do it, as long as you gathered enough herbs. And so that's basically how nowadays artisanship works, and that's why I have never made this video for a long time until now, because it's not that important. But since we have talked about workshops, so here's the thing. Let's talk about what are the different type of alchemy pills, elixirs in this game. So there are three different ways where you can get the recipes. And the first way is the most common, basic way is go to Tang's workshop, go to alchemy, and here you can either, just like what I said before, which border construction, elixir is always the best example. So you can gather all the necessary herbs and then ask them to forge it. You need to pay some money. And the thing is, if you let it do this way, each elixir have a rarity. For example, it shows red here, but even if you gather the elixir and ask them to do it, it won't be red. It will give you some low-level rarities. And then it's probably just even easier to buy it from the market, isn't it? So that's another way for you to get elixirs. And now, another way for you to get higher rarity thing is to buy those recipes and then learn it yourself, and then you can make it yourself by pressing O, go to here, and then select the recipe and choose a pot, a furnace. Here's another thing, furnace. So where do you get those furnaces? Those furnaces are actually, you can find them in your items, in materials for some reason, because they are apparently materials, and you can only get them from sect again, which is annoying if you are playing a non-sect run. But there is a way which is used in Invincible Elixir, so that you can get into other people's sect and buy it. Now, this was not a problem back then when alchemy was important, because back then you can directly buy things from other people's sect anyway. So just remember that. Now, of course, another way to get a furnace is to take Mirage Pot and actually Mirage Pot, the purple one, and also nowadays the upgraded Mirage Pot 1. So in this case, when you do the alchemy, you can directly use the Mirage Pot, which is the best furnace ever. So, and then you can make it yourself. So if you make it yourself, you need to play a mini game, and if you play it correctly, then you will get high rarity elixir compared to the low rarity ones you get from the workshop. Now, the only exception I have been saying it for a few times is border construction elixir, because this only have one rarity, that is orange. No matter you made it by yourself or this guy make it, they will always give the correct one. And in fact, if you make it yourself, not only you need more materials, and also there's a chance to fail. So why not let them do it? But otherwise, if you want a high rarity one, you have to make it yourself. Except now you can buy the high rarity one directly in the sect. And the second type of alchemy recipes, you get it from the Divine Cauldron Temple quest chain. And if you want to know what are the 4 different endings, please welcome to check out my quest chain series. And yeah, those ones are usually something special, and many of you haven't really seen it. So that's why at the end of the video I want to showcase different type of elixirs. And usually there are 2 types. One is the one which, for example, you can see soul formation, and this one you can add all the realms that you can, they are the ones you use to the enemy. And then there are even realm ones, for example, this 3 enlightenment. They are the ones that you don't really use it in battle, but after you're defeating an NPC, you can force feed them these type of elixirs, and it's more like for you to deal with NPCs. And finally, there is another type of recipes you can get, is the imp related one, the 3 Imperium elixir, Imp True Chi elixir, and transformation elixir. And these 3 you get it by finishing the Ugly Cultivator's quest. So you got, if you have, okay, first of all, you can only get those quests if you have chosen a gourd, otherwise you won't get it. That makes sense, right? Because you won't have imps. What's the point of getting imp elixirs? But I guess if you want to finish the achievement that to learn all elixirs recipes, you have to choose this one then. And yeah, once you already generated Demon's Arena, you should already be able to learn all the 3 recipes. And the final, the fourth one, not really coming from recipes, but from the feng shui diagram. So you know that there's this type of special feng shui diagram which generates this thing for you, and then you can go to the location and do a geo. And this will bring you two types of things. One is rain reversing elixir. Another one is very small chance invisibility elixir. So that's the only way to get these two elixirs. I think that's the main way to get all the elixirs in the game, and in fact, you can clearly see that the development team wants to add more elixirs. Because if you go to some cheating menu, cheating engine or mod, there are so many different elixirs and recipes that are not included into the final game. And I consider that a pity. And from Divine Cauldron Temple quest and all those special elixirs they have introduced into the game, you can sort of see that they have a pretty big ambition to make a proper elixir build. You don't care. It doesn't matter what kind of skills you choose, but more like you are depending on elixirs and focus. But I think the basic skeleton of this game is just not good enough to make that thing work. So in the middle, they just give it up, which is still understandable. And let's hope we can get something better in Tale of Immortal 2, if there is going to be one in the near future. Okay. Now we have introduced all the different type of recipes. Now let's actually starting to make one. And to demonstrate that, I am actually going to find the most simple, Qi refining level HP recovery elixir, the most basic thing you can get in the game. And to show you that it's not that straightforward. So when you click on the recipe, you want to make it by yourself, you can see that there are several things: Qi refining, proficiency, stamina cost, and forge difficult. So basically, stamina cost, yes, it costs you stamina. That's another reason why it's just annoying if you want to make elixirs by yourself. And the proficiency is a thing that every time you make it by yourself, finish the minigame, this will increase. And once it reaches 100, then the next time when you make it, you don't need to play the minigame anymore. I doubt anyone who are still playing this game at this time point ever improved any recipe proficiency to 100 because nobody is using this function anymore. But here is the confusing part. So you see that there's necessary materials. In this case, it's turmeric. Now, when you click on the recipe, you can see that it requires different type of elements to make it work. So you need 250 wood here and 150 lightning here. So when you put your mouse on the turmeric, you can see that each of them have 5 wood elements. So 50 by 5, that only gives you 250 wood elements. So if you only have this turmeric and you start to make the recipe, because you are missing the lightning element, you won't get a high rarity one. In fact, there's a high chance you will fail because this. And I do not understand from the bottom of my heart that why don't they add a warning to this, telling them that you might need more materials in order to make high rarity elixir. Look at the required elements, because who in their first time playthrough would see this thing? It's impossible. So anyway, let's choose, and this applies to every single elixir. So later on not only the basic one, later on ones, even if they can have, for example, this guy needs 2. Okay, let's go to even later on one. Banshet, this one needs 3, right? And so look at this: water 100, water wood, and this guy fire, water, earth wood, and fire, water, earth wood. And where is the lightning? No, you need another lightning thing in order to make this thing work. It applies to every single thing in this game, every single elixir. So you just need more than the required elixir to make things work. Just remember that. Now come back to here and we choose a recipe. Now we can choose a different funance to work. Of course, the Mirage pod is the best funance in the game because, first of all, funance have the thing called, let's choose a normal one. Let's say this guy. A blue one. It have the 3 capacity. Basically, that means you can put 3 different types of herbs into this funance. So it is viable for small things like this because, you need 1 necessary ones, maybe another additional one. But for the higher realm ones, those ones are not good enough. because you don't even have the slot to put in enough herbs. And there's durability. Every time you use it, the durability will drop. However, there are certain fusions that, let's just choose this one before we go to the next step. When we choose this Ghost Alchemy, you can see what are the skills. There are usually some active skills when you click it, which will double the highest element, which is good, and this and that. And also there are the other passive ability like chance of exploding drop, so failing drops, or that each time durability drops less, or this and that. So then again, we are using the most simple elixir recipe and using one of the most basic fusions. Let's start making it, because we want to show how do you do it properly first, and then to show you what are the better options later. So once you start this thing, when you put your mouse into different elixirs, you can sort of see what kind of element they will bring, and this is the required one. So first, let's put in the 50 turmeric. This will bring up the thing to 250, and now we need to give some lightning ones. So imagine we are at early game. We don't really have that many high-level fancy ones. So you need to put your mouse on top of the herbs. For example, we find this Taixuan Matutake. It's kind of mushroom, not sure why the Japanese translation. It has lightning 10. So you can throw in how many you want. So if you put 15, that is enough, but you can also put more if you want. In that case, it will a bit more. So after you think, okay, I've replaced everything, you can click on all placed. Then we can start conducting, and then you can see this thing going up and down, and this is the mini game you need to play. And one important point is, many people think alchemy stats matters on what kind of rarity you get. It is, but not in a direct way. The alchemy stats matters how fast this thing goes up and down. So if you have very low stats and you are trying very difficult alchemy elixir, then this thing goes and it's just impossible for you to play the game unless you use some external thing. But let's say you are super fast, you are a faker, some kind of LOL player, then sure, you can probably still make some high level elixirs with very low alchemy stats. It's possible. And yeah, you know this small game how it works. You basically, when it's getting close to the maximum, the correct value, you press your space button, and then if you do it correctly, you get high efficiency, and then you get some elixirs. In this case, because we do it almost perfectly, we got red rarity 1, orange 1, and purple 1. Adding together gives us 10, okay? So usually that's the case, you get 10 elixirs out of each concord. And then, of course, if you have better fusions, it will be better. And now we want to introduce something which really changes the alchemy game. The first thing we need is the 2 Mirage Pot Destinies. The purple one, which is already enough, so each of them have the thing to improve your alchemy, but also there are some battle effects. So now let's ignore the battle effect. So the simple Mirage Pot already allows you to give you a simple Mirage Pot so that you don't need to have external fusions to make elixirs. And if you upgrade it more, it's not really written here for some reason, but when you do the alchemy, it will be more clear. But it makes you creating elixir process even easier and better, but also you can now bring more elixirs into the battle and cooldown is less. And this will actually, well, I didn't mention, but if you want to make an elixir build, you need to have a good compendium, because first of all, you need focus when you use elixirs. Increasing focus, good. But a good compendium will have certain sub-skills. Look at here. For example, cooldown of elixir used in battle minus 50%. In the ninth one, that's important. And also there are sub-skills which is not written here, like increased amount of elixir you can bring into battle. For example, in this case, I can bring 15 into the battle because I have Mirage Pot too. But if I have a better compendium with the sub-skill, I can even bring more elixir into the battle. So a good compendium is really necessary. And Mirage Pot is good but not necessary, okay? Now, also, one really powerful sub skill here, which I think I mentioned in some other skill guide as well. It's the sixth one. Every time you cast a special skill, the cooldown of Elixir again minus 4.75 seconds. That's 0.5 seconds. And so if you are used later on in the late game, if you're using a zero cooldown special skill build, things that can be powerful, this allows you to have almost zero cooldown Elixir. You might think, what do I need for that? I mean, Elixirs maybe not that useful anyway. Well, there is this thing called, I'm going to buy it, no, I'm just to show it, this one. The attack elixir. Just look at this, the worst case. It increased 450 when you eat it one, and duration 20 seconds. You have the rare rarity one at Transcendent Realm, it will be 1500 attack. And imagine have almost zero cooldown to eat this thing. And in that 20 seconds, how many attacks can you stack on? It's crazy good. And it is actually so good that even when I'm using a zero cooldown special skill build, I don't even use it because it's already powerful enough. No need to use it. Anyways, back from the compendium, let's try to show how Mirage Pot is good. But before we actually do the thing, there's one more thing I want to show is Artifact Spirit. Lengjingtang at end game, this one, his second artisanship skill allows you, if you equip a thing with this guy, the fusions will never explode. Never ever explode. And guess what does Mirage Pot do? So in order to do that, we need to find something we actually have enough material. What about you, Lawmaker's one? So again, wind, earth, that only allows you these two. And what about fire, lightning, young? It's bad. So let's first look at the simple Mirage Pot. If we choose it here, it tells you quantity of the elixir increase 100%. So instead of 10, you'll get 20. That's already good, right? And let's choose Mirage Pot number 1. And not only you get this, but always be G1 elixir. So you can just now play randomly. You don't need to play the game properly, the minigame. Let's start it. And let's throw in this guy. 50. You have to throw in the necessary ones, so that's there. And now we can also just not place anything, okay? We just say all placed. So in this case, because we do not have anything like this, we can see that we already got quite a lot of impurity. And with the fact that we have Mirage Pot and we have Lengjingtang so that we will never fail, I'm going to do it very badly, as you can see. Doing good, especially very badly like this. We have zero purity, almost full impurity. Usually this will explode the fusions. But Lengjingtang is there to help us. And not only we get the thing done, but also we get G1 and also double the amount. It's 40, not 20, because this is a special elixir, not the standard simple one. So yeah, if you want to play an elixir build for some reason, like just to challenge yourself, or there is a mod to make this thing work, then the things you need to get, remember, Lengjingtang to make the thing not explode, because otherwise if you play so badly like me just now, it will explode. And of course Mirage Pot, which makes you higher rarity and also more elixirs. Oh, I forgot to mention that even though we are not focusing on battle thing, but it's not that bad neither, huh? So Mirage Pot allows you to receive less damage from behind. It's doing something. Well, in fact, Mirage Pot, the low level one, I like it a bit more. Not only do you receive 15% damage from behind, but also it will buff your summons. So I don't know why they get rid of the summon buff from this when you upgrade it. It's just weird. And the only problem of Mirage Pot 1 is it makes your agility 15% less. And that's kind of deadly in early game. In late game, that's what's fine. But yeah, I really wish they keep this summon buff, and that actually might make Mirage Pot more viable, and also in turn makes the elixir build more viable. Now I want to showcase some of those, special elixirs. So we'll start with the ones that you can get from, I think, Huafeng, Yunmo, etc. And by doing the Divine Cauldron Temple quest, you will get these 5. I think this is the first one you get, Toxic Incense, and then you will get Energy Gathering as well as Tiangang Peel. and then finally you will get Blood Burning and ISO Elixir. So each time, oh, I didn't mention, for those type of elixirs, each time, okay, let's go to here. Each time when you upgrade your realm, when you come back to this place, you can learn a recipe, and only in those cases you will get high realm ones, because there is the same thing that at each realm. For example, you see Law Bearer's Elixir here at Gigantization as well. Well, we just made one at a very high realm, and so that's why when you see this thing, you will see higher realm ones and there are lower realm ones. And then there are some special ones like ban for Raindrop Elixir. That's only you can get it at 目前 region. Either if you choose the bad ending, you direct get recipe, or if you choose the good ending, you can get it from the new Divine Cauldron Temple around here. But for some reason, they don't have a special icon on the map. This is so stupid. And finally, if you have progressed to 目前 region at a certain point, actually, I might just try it now because maybe. Okay, let's teleport here. Maybe. Here, for example. In this case, Shixing will give us our latest elixir recipe, and this allows us to learn Butt-Searing Orb. One of the more weirder ones, for sure. Where is that Butt-Searing Orb? Wait. Do I not get it? Elixir? Okay, it's not really showing. Oh, it's here. Okay, Butt-Searing Orb. And yeah, so in that case, you will get 3 special ones. Ben for Raindrop, Butt-Searing Orb, and finally, once you go to Transcendent, you come back to here, or if you are choosing bad ending, you directly get recipe, the Hallucination Incense. So we'll first showcase the 5 of these ones, and then we'll showcase these 3. And finally, we'll showcase a few that you can feed it to other people. We won't showcase Invincible Elixir now, because there is already a dedicated video for it, and if you're interested what does this do, check out that video in my channel. Just search Invisibility Elixir. Okay, we will start with this Poison one. The Poison one creates a poison swamp on the ground, and you can see that they do decent damage, especially, well, if you want to kill some mobs. They are quite efficient. Like, you know how Fallen Valley works. And it lasts pretty long as well, and okay, now it's finished. Now let's use the second one, this guy. This is the ice one. It basically allows you to generate ice around you, and yeah, it at least can kill one elite, which is a little bit difficult if you are. Remember, we are reborn. This is the Chiyo one. And finally, we'll check out this Blood Burning Elixir, which is a bit stupid. So first, we see many people here, right? Now let's use number 4. It's almost like a giant. Wait, it's almost like a giant. What do you call? Heal breaker. It kills people in that region, but it cost you HP, and it's not that strong either. So, man. And finally, let's check out the Tiangang Peel, which is also quite simple. If you press 5, there's a small shield, and yeah, it can block damage for you. So make you feel like, okay, isn't that a normal thing? But now comes the important part. Did you see that when I was using my special skill, I need time to charge? Because that's how water and the thing works. You need time charge. However, now with this guy, Energy Gathering Spear, we don't need charge anymore. It's always perfect charge. And that is quite powerful. It's hard to show, but this thing makes water and the pump build really powerful in the middle game, and the problem is right now we have a reward, and I believe at Soul Formation this effect will already lasting for the entire battle, but previously this effect won't last that long, you know. It will be only for some seconds. Oh, come on, how come you're still here? And yeah, it just makes your water and build is just much better. Now let's try it again. 3, and use our water. Then use this thing to recover something back, and do this again. Yeah. So Each of them have their own use, and notice that we still have our shield with us. That's because we have the shield guide, right? But shield guide have this thing, so when we use it, this has a time limit. So once the time is finished, the shield around us is gone. But if you use a Tiangang Peel, this shield is a little bit higher HP. I mean, it's not that high, but it's forever there, unless it got weared out by the enemy attack. So out of all the 5, I would say this one be pretty good farming one. If your build do not have any AoE type thing like Dragon Rising Spear, this one can help you to farm. This one similar, can help you to farm, can do some damage to one single enemy as well, but it's not like it's that game breaking powerful. This one is quite useless, sorry to say. And this one, again, it's helpful, but it's like that talisman. The talisman, spiritual shield talisman, it is there, it does work, but it's not that powerful neither. Well, this one, energy gathering elixir, can be really helpful for water and palm build because they have this charged skill mechanism. Now I want to showcase the 3 special ones, and to be honest, at our realm, you know that we are should be only getting the Butt-Searing orb, which I showed you just now, and Ben for Raindrop elixir. This one we should not get yet, but why not we show it? So this one is actually pretty similar to the toxic one. It's just a big AoE damage, but it's full screen, it deals damage to everyone, including yourself. This is a bit stupid, but it works for farming. And this one we will show you a bit later. Let's go. So coming to here, wait. I need to switch off this one first. Switch off this and press 3. You see the raindrops from the sky? It clears up pretty fast. And now let's press use 2, the Butt-Searing. Do you see that giant thing? The rainbow flame coming out of my butt. You can even use your mouse like this so that it can change its direction. It does some damage to the enemy. It's simply like a burning butt. The 3 levels of Destiny burning butt, and technically it works with Mirage pot. Do you see that pot behind me? Yeah, that pot allows me to take less damage from behind. So and the Butt-Searing orb allows me to spray a rainbow fire from the behind. You just need to keep your mouth so that you are facing towards away from the enemy. It's a bit weird. Now let's try the 4 one, and oh sorry, we are back to the center. Why am I so stupid nowadays? So we press this 4, and you can see it generates basically a image of every single enemy in this region. They will do some damage for you. It's not like they are useless, but it's also not like they are super useful neither. Some of them, like in some cases, you realize that they somehow do pretty good damage. Let's put the 4 down here and try to see our new tree monster. What do they do? It's doing pretty well, right? It kills the other tree monster pretty fast. So in a way, it's a weird summon build, if you want to use this thing. As I mentioned, now it's vanished, which is sad, but as I mentioned, if the whole Mirage Pod summon buff thing can work, then along with Hallucination Incense and maybe a bit longer duration time, it might be helpful in summon builds needed. But yeah, that's basically what does it do. Those 3. For fun, I guess, just like the water one, and this one, farming one, just like toxic one, and this one is, I mean, if it lasts longer, for forever lasting, I would say it's considered as similar. This one helpful to water and palm, this one may be helpful to wood and earth, but for now it's not that useful. And finally, we want to showcase the elixirs that you can force feed to the enemy. So those ones, there are a few different types, like there's Law Bearer one and there's Evil Doer one, which I won't showcase them because they are pretty simple to easy to see. If you put your mouse there, you can see that it makes the enemy, the NPC will try to find people to fight, and that is problematic. And you can combine it with this Vein Reversing Elixir, however. So let's find this woman. She is our enemy for some reason, which I do not remember. but we'll attack her. Give up, there's no escape. We have to find Enlightenment one, not because we can't beat a Reborn one, but more like our Elixirs. We only have Enlightenment Realm Elixirs, and they won't work against Reborn Realm Elixirs, Reborn Realm enemies. And yeah, because all, as I mentioned in the beginning, all those feeding ones, they are in Even Realm, and we are only Reborn, so we can't use the higher realm one, the Transcendent ones. Okay. So they were dead. Ah, you are running away. Have to do it again, because it will appear once you defeat them. This game, man, when I just need to showcase, to make a video, this woman have run away from me 4 times in a row now. And finally, well, we are going to force feed you an elixir. And while you can actually force feed her this one as well, that will be a bit too cruel for a woman. I guess let's force feed her the Vein Reversing Elixir. Basically, what does this do? Oh god, this just looks so bad when a woman says it. Anyway, what this will do is allows her basically not use any skill, which is bad because then her enemy will try to fight her. And so now when we look at this, you can see that she was removed martial, special, and motion skill, and she has this Vein Reversing Elixir, the stat with him, which lasts 6 months, and that's not great. So 6 months later, we can check out her background story. And I am not sure, like say if we are using a lower rarity one, maybe that won't reduce everything, we only remove one of them, who knows. But yeah, but they do these kind of things. And I will try to fight her again to force feed her the Righteous Elixir. And don't run away, please. Thank you. I'm sorry. I apologize to you. I will gift you something good and make you a Heaven Chosen after showcasing this. It's for science. It's for science. Don't run away, please. Okay. Yeah, don't worry. We won't kill you. We're just to force feed you Lawbearer's Elixir. And the battle lasts really long once you feed them Elixir. Probably the game need to recalculate stuff, because that's something special. Okay, now let's check out her again. She has this thing, hate the demonic, even though herself is demonic, doesn't matter, which means she will try to fight demonic people, even though now she has no skills, which means she will suffer. So yeah. And we find this unfortunate guy who said, kill me as you wish, I'm at your mercy, but again, we're just going to feed you a lustrous young elixir. I think many people were really confused, like what does this do? Is there something weird about Duncan's young essence thing? So let's gift him this thing, more force feed him this thing, and then we will see what will happen. So now we have force feed 2 people, 3 different type of elixirs. So for this person, we do not feed him the Vein Reversing one, because that will a little bit make things a bit more confusing to read. But so Guofu took animal drug. Okay, remember that. So 2 months has passed. Now when we look at this woman who will force feed Vein Reversing one and the whatever Lawbearer one, she now actually smart enough, she went to bought a set of chi refining skills. I guess that's the only thing that allows her to use. So basically, the Vein Reversing one forced her to only can equip chi refining one. And yeah, because she was trying to find more powerful manuals. And yeah, so she's really trying hard to get herself remove negative destinies, but I haven't seen anything about he's trying. Oh, having lost all his martial arts, got defeated and humiliated by someone else, Shao An, and her things were taken away. The he here obviously was just a bad translation. So yeah, because lost the martial arts, now she got bullied by other people. That was still okay. But now when we look at this human, where are you? You're here. Let's check out what happened to him. Notice that, so there are a few things going on. So let's start in here. We have fed him the elixir, right? And recuperated in and recovered, so-called. Explored the Dunkang lair, but charisma dropped. I don't know what happened. We took him in the Dunkang lair since he has taken a very strong power, which basically now he is infatuated with Dunkang's beauty and find they are even more gorgeous after further appreciation. So he went to the Dunkang lair, did something to the female Dunkang, and which makes his charisma dropped. Nobody liked him. 4 months has passed. This woman seemed to be recovering pretty well because even with the chi refining skill, I'm more shocked by this, okay? But yeah, so she's trying to learn some higher realm skills, but she cannot equip them. She learns this but can't equip them, so she's still with these ones, okay? And she lost to someone else, defeated and humiliated. And then when someone talked about writers with me, he disagrees. Like, I thought you took the writer's field. This is just so weird. But now here it comes. Lost all the martial art, defeated, humiliated, and motivated by G1 Lawbearer's elixir. Finally, this thing happened. A few writers and struck demonic men I saw, feeling righteous and trying to strike demonic men nearby. Launched the attack on a demonic man, and the target tried to escape. Fought it again, defeated and humiliated this guy, causing a mental down. Now, I think the whole idea is that once she lost all the skills, she will try to find some demonic man and got defeated. But however, because the target she chose is only chi condensation, so even with chi refining skills, because her stats are so much higher, she still managed to easily get a win. Well, still, that is okay enough for her to make enemies. On the other hand, it's also more like, yeah, she does get humiliated and defeated by someone else. Now, let's take a look at this guy. I think there's a chance for something to happen, which I will explain later. Oh, by the way, this is Ugly Sage. Don't forget about him. This is where you get those Imp Elixirs. And where's the backstory? Here we go. Failed to explore the Dunkang layer. So he is still trying to find Dunkang layers. And yeah, failed to explore the Dunkang layer. Okay, so that's there. Alright, apparently this time it doesn't trigger, but I think you have already seen at some point of this video that because I already fed this guy once before, sorry to him, about Dunkang's elixir, and yeah, he has explored the Dunkang layer and incurred Dunkang's counter-attack against all residents in the town. So what does this mean? It's an event called Herd of Monsters. So yeah, Herd of Monsters appeared. Basically, Dunkang has led a lot of mythical beasts to attack the town because he's angry that someone come to his home and did something with his wife. And then the next month, Dunkang appeared near the town. I guess maybe that is one way for you to spawn Dunkang. Just at what cost? Herd of monsters attacked the town. Many people were injured. At what cost? So yeah, it's not a small chance to happen because later on I fed this guy another one and you can see that it didn't happen. I think the main thing is really, if someone you really hate a lot, then you can feed them these kind of elixirs. But there's another way, which what I'm going to say is quite evil thing to do, so I do not recommend anyone do it. So in this game, many times, many people, if you're not playing female character, if you play male character, you want to have a harem, right? In order to have a harem, you want to have a lot of women as your partners. Now, depending on their traits, some of them are faithful. And in this case, they are faithful to their spouse. And if they have a spouse like this, then Shu Bo Yi. Then even if you kill this guy, she will still be faithful to her very dead husband. So you cannot take her as a partner. Now, the way to deal in this situation is you need to break their relationship. And there are different ways to break it. You can be friends with both of them, but depending on your opinion towards them, then you talk with someone else about one of them about the other, which will actually only have the bad opinion option, which will make their opinion become bad, so they will hate each other. This method is a bit more difficult to control. A better way is to defeat the husband and feed him the Elixirs Imp Elixir. Then this husband will be like this guy and go to Duncan layers, because now he found the female Duncan more beautiful compared to his wife. And that will greatly reduce their relationship, and eventually they will break up. And once they break up, then she does not have a dead husband. She just does not have any husband. Then you can take her as your partner. It's a very roundabout way to do things, but it exists. Okay, I guess that will be everything. We have showcased most of the elixirs, and as I mentioned before, in this one, it's more useful, and you can find it in a dedicated video. And everything else, this guy is useful, for water and pound build. These others, maybe some of them can have some niche use for farming, etc. And of course, you have the general ones, eat and that. And if you, for some reason, your sect don't have the thing, or you won't do a non-sect run, yeah, feel free to make those breakthrough elixirs by yourself. And finally, if you want to save your sect people, save some NPCs, you struggle to find workshop. They found body reconstruction elixir. They are always in the main city workshop somewhere. And yeah, just ask the workshop to make it. No, not necessary to make it yourself. Not worth it. And I think that will be everything about this guide. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. I'm sorry. Like stamina. And yeah. We'll do this to the other guy 1 year later.